Hi everyone, so let's talk about next permutation. So you have to implement next permutation, which will arrange number into lexicographically next greater permutation of numbers. And these are pretty dumb lists. So look at example 1, 2, 3, 5. You just generate a next permutation. This is pretty simple. But what if the array is big, it's long? How do you actually know? How can you find out the next permutation? So if you are given A 1, 2, 5, 6, 5, 3, the next permutation should be 1, 2, 6, 3, 5, 5. And this is how you actually notice the idea. So the idea is actually you traverse the loop from the end and you compare the I and then I plus 1. I'm going to call it X. So if I is greater than 3, right, then we decrement by 1. If 6 is greater than 5, then we decrement by 1. If 5 is greater than 6, no, right? So we stop at this point. Then we swap. We find out the discontinuous index, right? Then we have to swap the next greater index value from at I index, right? And we starting from the end. I'm gonna call it J. So J will still have to compare phi this index phi and compare with this index J, right? And I decrement because phi is not greater than 3, right? So I decrement. So phi is not greater than 5, right? So I decrement until I hit a point of phi is less than 6, which is 6 is greater than 5, right? I need to find out 6 will replace this index I, right? So I will swap. So I will swap what? Swap I and J. So my array will become 1, 2, 6, 5, 5, 3. Now I need to know how can I actually deal with this remaining array. Then I need to reverse. From index I plus 1 to the end. And this is how you actually do it to get 3, 5, 5, right? So let's just start coding and I will just help you to on the way when I explain. So I'm going to say in I equal to num star length minus 2. And while I is greater or equal than 0, and also num star I and num star I plus 1, how can you actually do it is greater than equal, right? Greater equal than, okay? And then I decrement the I. So what is the point to use the equal sign? Because phi and phi is actually doesn't matter, right? If you swap with this phi and this phi, it doesn't work. I need a number which is greater than phi, right? So if phi index I and then phi index I plus 1, if that is valid, then this value doesn't work. A number that it actually has to be greater. The greater than this continuous number has to be greater. So this phi, I mean if I have this phi, right, right over here, I still have to keep going. But at this point, this is 6, right? And at this point, I need to stop because I need to know I need to swap with someone else. So here's a case. If I is greater or equal than 0, I need to do something. And if I is not greater than equal to 0, I need to swap because if for this example, you're still increasing from the end to the start to the beginning, right? If that is true and I is no longer is not equal to 0 because you're still in decrement, right? The value keep decrement to I become -1, so you break out a value. So if you break out a value and I is less than 0, then you need to reverse. So I'm going to talk about this later, but let's look at this example. So I find out discontinuous index, I need to swap the next greater index value at index I. So I have in J will become non-stop length minus 1. And while J is greater than equal to 0, and also num_sub J, I need to find out what is the greater, right? So which means I need to say if nums J less than equal to nums I, and I decrement the J, and I need to swap, right? I need to swap nums comma I comma J. I need to reverse from nums and I plus 1, right? If you look at this, reverse from the index I plus 1 to the n, and also swap I and J, and this is actually the idea of how this question is supposed to do. So I need to swap function. So supposed to be easy on this kind of easy method. In J, in temp would become nums I, come on, nums I, sorry, nums J, nums J, come on, equal to 10. Also reverse in nums in star, and I already know what's my Lien index, right? It's going to be nums of length minus 1. All right, so while star is greater, which is less than. So if while star is less than n, I need to swap. So you have, so when you reverse, right, you swap with this index so you swap, and then you increment the index, and then they just start coding without talking, so you will know how you actually swap, right? So you swap the index star and index n, right? And then you decrement the n and then increment the star, and just run the code to see if I have any typo. Right, it's pretty good. And here we go. So let's talk about time and space. So for the space, you are not generate array for the nums array, so the constant space all of 1. Couple of time you actually traverse from the n to the beginning, so it should be all of n, and this would be a good question for sure, but you have to think about how you actually do it. So if you like the video, please leave a like and leave a comment if you want, and subscribe if you want, and then I will see you next time. All right, peace out.